So this is just, I guess, a personal blog. But yeah, I don't even know. Like, I'm just processing some comments that I read that were it is no longer my objective to protect the low vibrational emotional devotion to angry, self-destructive, woe is me, protect me while I proclaim to be your protector. It's not my ministry. It's not my goal. It's not my objective. Over the last few weeks, I have become increasingly vigilant in calling out the cancers of our community, the behavior of the cancers. Not cancer as an astrological sign, but in cancer as something that eats away at your body. And I have been, last week, in the last 2 weeks, I have been really vocal about the ignorance of, it's not even the ignorance, it's not even ignorance actually, because ignorance denotes a lack of knowledge. And I think the men are very smart, very capable, very aware of their positions in society, and also very aware that there are people who will coddle and comfort and feed these tropes of the black man being the most downtrodden victim of our society, and the black women who have this Pavlov's response to jumping up and protecting the sanctity of not the men who are supportive, uplifting, and encouraging, but the bad behaviors of these men. I don't know if it comes from a woman's societal uniform to nurture and protect, but these are grown men who do not need the protection of someone who is considered by society to be second in line to them. I have no interest in protecting the sanctity. I don't. I have no interest in protecting the image. I don't. I will no longer be standing up for. My support is wholly conditional. And my focus is not the breakdown or the destruction, but the upliftment and the construction of healthy, profitable exchanges, interchanges, collaborations. I'm not interested in the men with the ideologies that were protected and held by the likes of a 50 Cent or a Snoop Dogg or a Gervonta or a Terry Crews or a Tyreek Nasheed or a Umar Johnson, because their main goal, based on historical evidence and demonstration by their own hands, is to protect one group in our community, and that is themselves. And because of their physicality, men have been allowed to reign. They have been allowed to control. They have been allowed to do these things. And if you look at the current state of where we are as humans, humanity and community, we are in a bad, very bad position. And when it's time to discuss these things, the black woman, specifically the single black woman, is to blame. In addition, our brothers and sisters of the LGBTQ plus community, who are also black, also are to blame. And if you are touted as the leaders, your self-proclaimed positions, and sometimes you're allowed to uphold these positions with the help of other black women who center themselves around the ideas that these men need to be coddled and comforted and protected. I don't have any interest in that. I never understood as a young girl what black women so that's not my ministry. I am not here to discuss that. I'm not interested. I think the things that happened within the last 2 weeks, where black men have successfully demonstrated their commitment to not protecting black women and their devotion to only uplift themselves, and their devotion and commitment to the emotion anger. I am no longer interested in that. I am not. I don't want to discuss it. Please don't send me any articles about what a black man has done to a black woman. I'm not interested in articles in a black man marrying a white woman. I am not interested in articles where a black man has shot a black woman. I am not interested in that. You can send me articles, if you can find them, of black men upholding their self-proclaimed position as the leaders of the community, demonstrating leadership skills, demonstrating the titles that they have given themselves in a society ruled and governed in patriarchy. What I have noticed, and what is really unfortunate, is that the women who participate in upholding the ideas of patriarchy by protecting, coddling, and comforting the bad behaviors with no consequence of these men, I'm not interested in it at all. So please don't send me anything about what the destructive nature of the black man. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how they can't get jobs. I don't want to hear how they're in prison. I don't want to hear how they are abusive. I don't want to hear any of that. I don't want to put my energy into that. It depletes me, and the last 2 weeks have been depleting to me. The fact that women are telling me that I have become increasingly bitter relating to the commentaries and perspectives and truths that I hold when it comes to black men is disappointing, because, and we do know that women play a part in upholding patriarchal ideologies. I'm no longer interested in participating in that. I am not subscribing to the idea. I'm no longer interested in rallying up black men to start behaving in such a way that would be beneficial to the overall upliftment of the community, to include women, children, and gay folk, LGBTQ, so include everyone, so there's no confusion. I'm not interested in that. If you want to send me articles where black men are protecting children, uplifting women, protecting and speaking up and for LGBTQ rights, you can send me those articles. You can send me those excerpts. Anything related to black men being destructive, negative, what else? Anything like that. You know what I'm talking about. Negativity. Now, that's not saying that I am not aware of these things. That is not to say that I am not focused on these things, but I don't want to be, because I want to focus on the seeds that produce great, bountiful, abundant, fruitful gardens. I also believe, and I want to be clear, that holding the negative actions of men that are perpetrated against women, children, and LGBTQ folk I'm not interested in that anymore. Holding them accountable is not bashing. My delivery may come off as bashing because I don't mince words. I'm not rubbing anybody's shoulders. I'm not comforting you in your, while you have a sledgehammer in your hand and while you are tearing up the community. I'm not fixing you a plate. I'm not worried about your health. I'm not, I'll say this: black men, American black men, are no longer my ministry. So if you want to find out about a black man not supporting a black woman, or a black man abusing a black woman, or a black man divesting from his community by procreating with non-black women, I am not interested anymore. I'm not interested. It does not feed me at all. Um, but I have always been one to speak up for people who have been done wrong. And if the perpetrators of these actions are black men, that does not mean that I'm bashing black men. It does not mean that I hate black men. What I do hate is what I do hate is that people want to silence women who are calling these behaviors out, and it's disappointing for women to attempt to silence other women. But again, women uphold patriarchy. When a woman centers her well-being, herself, her safety around men, she will tell another woman that she is bitter, she's male bashing, she's doing all of this because her Pavlov response when someone is talking about black men, she has been trained to protect that. She has been trained to make sure no one speaks ill of black men. She's been trained, and she's falling right in line when she's telling other black women, don't speak negatively about black men. Um, yeah, I'm just not interested anymore. Yesterday was the end of it. I don't care anymore. So, um, that's it. That's all I have to say. I wanted to take a break from, just pull back a little bit, because when I notice the comments are not coming from a place of genuine concern, but more of a place like, I need to let her know that what she's doing is her being bitter, which is a trope that comes from black men when they are being held accountable for things that they continue to perpetuate in our community. They are, anytime someone says anything, can you imagine that every time, every time that you correct a child in in their bad behavior, or hold them accountable for their bad behavior, they turn around and tell you, you hate me? You hate me. You hate me. Can you imagine that every time You corrected someone's bad behavior in an effort to make them better. The aversion to greatness is unfortunate. The idea and the commitment to being the victim is something that hasn't done our community any no benefits. But black men and black women are tethered to this victim archetype. The victim. Help me. I do this because the white man. I abuse women because of the white man. I am in jail because of the white man. I divest from my community and sleep with white women because, or non-black women because of the white man. I do all of these things, and if you hold me accountable, even if you speak to me in a loving way, you hate me. That's going to be the card that you pull, is because you are holding me accountable, because you are saying there should be consequences for my behavior, that you hate me. You are bashing me. When black women are attempting to give black women a voice because the Me Too movement has been co-opted by white women, even though it was created by a black woman, and for the black women, for their voices to be attempted to be silenced, and then the woman who is giving them the voice is now called all of these things, is just an indication of the silliness, of the immaturity, of the lack of accountability, of the desire to be able to be destructive, to be able to walk through the sandbox and crush all of the sandcastles being built by the gatekeepers. That's bashing. That's being bitter. Now, do I care if someone is calling me bitter? A little bit. I do care, because, especially by a woman, that really, because that's something that I hear coming from my male counterparts. I used to hear that. Again, when it's time to hold someone accountable, when you're speaking to the bad behaviors of a certain type of man, and you are told, because you're speaking and bringing light to these bad behaviors, that you are bashing men, you are giving a message to say, because he has been done wrong, because he is the perpetual victim, allow him to cause destruction within this sandbox. Allow him to kick down these sandcastles that the gatekeepers have made. Allow him to do that, whether he can rebuild it or not. Don't say anything, because he needs to be coddled. He needs to be comforted. This is the same people who you center yourselves around and say should lead your community. The same people. So I have no interest, again, in discussing it. So what we can do is focus on the things that I like to discuss. We can discuss relationships. We can discuss self-care. We can discuss how to take care of ourselves. We can discuss how to love ourselves, how to center our well-being around ourselves and not other people, whether that person be another woman or another man. We can discuss those things. We can discuss the reality shows. We can talk about relationships between women, friendships, platonic relationships. We can talk about regular relationships. My ideas and truths and observations as it relates to the institution of marriage will never change. So if you are one whose life and you see value in a man choosing you, if you see value in you waiting around for someone to traditionally propose to you, if you would like to legally bind yourself to someone who you would not go into business with, any of those things, I'm not, this is not the place for you. It really isn't. Um, I talk about a little ratchet stuff, a little righteous stuff, but I'm no longer discussing the agenda items that have been curated by the likes of Snoop Dogg, Tariq Nasheed, Umar Johnson, and any woman who look to them for guidance, who look to them as leadership, who look to them as they need to be protected. Um, I'm not interested in that at all. So um, I just wanted to come down here and let you all know that. Um, I love my channel. I love giving my opinions about things. No one can ever um, take that from me. I will continue to give my opinions on things. Um, no one will silence me. If I do want to talk about something that relates to a person not being their best selves, the allergic reaction to being held accountable in order to be great is disturbing. It's really sad if you think about it. It's like, how do you resist greatness? How do you know who is going to be there to say, hey, you're not being great? Well, it won't be me anymore. um, I'm going to put as much energy as they do in protecting us that I do protecting them. My support is wholly conditional. Um, I my support for Terry Crews, that my response to jump up and protect him against other men who were being sexist towards him and homophobic, um, and saying these things, I my response as a person who has always been, I will want to fight for the person, the underdog, right? I want to fight for the person who I feel is being mistreated. But I'm not. Again, it's not of my interest. It's no longer my ministry. I am, and to just use the phrase of another YouTuber, I am divesting from interest. I am dumping all the stock that I have. I'm dumping all of the stock. I'm divesting from any energy that is related to the ills and the disgusting behavior that people in our community endure at the hands of men who have an imbalance, um, and are toxic in their behavior. No, I'm done with it. So, if you would like to send me articles about, if you can find them, articles about black men being supportive, encouraging, and uplifting to black women, send them to me. Anything else, send them to someone else. I have no interest in talking about it. They can destroy the community for all I care. So I guess they have gotten what they wanted, because I will not. I'm not interested in it. I am disgusted. I am disappointed. I am divested. I'm not, it's not, it doesn't, I don't see a return on the investment of holding people accountable, or asking them to hold themselves accountable in order for them to be great. I am no longer interested in watching a man expect something out of a woman that he can't even demonstrate in his request for respect. And that's all I have to say. I'm going back to studying my chakras, and because I have a goal that I want to attain, and I cannot be distracted by focusing on the the destructive behaviors and entitled behaviors of black men and women. Because, again, it's not just black men, it's black women who center themselves around the comfortability of black men, who like to tell or use tropes and catchphrases from black men to insult other black women. So I'm not interested in that either. Again, I'm interested in promoting healthy relationships between all facets of relationships, from platonic to intimate. We can discuss those things. We can discuss human behavior. We can discuss the psychology behind behaviors of humans. We can discuss all of those things. But I will not be, I charge you all to be the ones who are going to stand on the front lines when a black man is done wrong by the white man that he so desires to be in alignment and proximity to. And I'm not interested in that anymore. So that's what's going on. Just see you guys down. I don't even know. See you guys down in the comments. Again, if you are here because I share your, we share in our disgust of the state of the community and the people in it who, again, call themselves leaders, but at the same time need the support and expect the blind support of black women. I'm not interested in that. So there are a lot of other channels that speak to that audience, but I'm not here for that. And that's just what it is. So I have made a decision a few months ago to be mindful where I spend my emotional currency, and not that I am looking for a return in terms of that, but I'm not spending my money there anymore. I'm not spending my emotional currency, my emotional labor. I'm not. I have no interest in it. So We'll talk soon. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Support, uplift, and keep each other honest to the extent to where you are not draining yourself in an effort to see someone be greater than who they are. Peace.